They didn't just let me play with ice cream machines, they also let me play with stuff like this immersion blender. It was pretty big and it packed a lot of power, so you wanted to use 2 hands at the beginning, but once you got it all set up, you could actually just take your hands off and just let it do its thing. It's kind of weird how much fun I had with all this and how exciting it was for me, but I just really enjoy learning new things, so hopefully you want to see more because I have tons more to share. Like I said, I had a lot of course wanted to throw them to somebody and see if they could catch them, so we're going to fill our pan up with all these little balls of ice cream. I made some half balls, but we're not going to use those. There was no real good way to get them to stick together. Don't worry, I'm not gonna let you down. I brought my spades, so we're gonna get the full effect here. It's funny, I didn't have to make anyone try to catch these. They all wanted to, and pretty much all of them caught it in one way or another. Since we went through all the trouble to make these balls. I always think perspective is so important in life, especially when your whole life changes in a year. That's why you hear me talk about little Dylan. Imagine myself as an 8-year-old kid, and I want to see my life through his eyes. Today's a huge day. We're about to get on a plane and we're gonna fly to North Carolina to test out some ice cream machines for my future ice cream shop that I'm opening next year. When you're a little kid, you have so many dreams and goals of what you'll look like when you get older. And you don't realize that all the little things that you do every day eventually continue to build and grow you so that when you are older, you'll be those things. When I was a little kid, me and my family used to eat bowls of ice cream just about every night, and I never knew that love for ice cream would grow into me getting a job at 15 at ice cream shop. And as I grew older, my skills increased and I learned how to decorate cakes and even eventually became a manager. And I never thought that I'd ever work with ice cream for over 9 years. I hope you see why I'm telling you that. The little things in your life eventually continue to grow and become things that you never thought they could be, and that could be good or bad. Just like me, working with ice cream for all those years has grown into me now flying out to go test equipment for my own place. The little things that you do every day are growing inside of you to build things that eventually when you are older will become something. Now just imagine when you're 80 and you look back on all of those things that grew throughout your lifetime. What do you want those things to look like? If you know what they are, then start working today to grow little by little to become those things. A ton of little steps have led me to this morning where I'm waking up in North Carolina to go test out some ice cream machines. I hope you're as excited as I am because I've had all kinds of crazy fun ideas of how I can work with all the cool things that they've been working on. This has probably been my favorite one to play around with. It's a special soft serve machine that has these hoses attached with a special nozzle that you can squeeze and fill up different molds. I'd imagine this would be perfect for a really fancy ice cream place or even ice cream cakes. I actually tried to decorate ice cream cake with this, but it didn't go so well. This is just a little silicone mold, and what you do is you just fill this all up and then you smooth it out and freeze it, and you'll make these little ice cream discs. We played around with this a lot and made a bunch of different shapes. It was a ton of fun. I think my favorite shape was probably these ice cream balls, though. You know me, I love catching and throwing ice cream, but man, were they hard to get out of these molds. I got these 2 out, but the other 4, it took me so long to get them out of there. But once I finally did, they were a ton of fun to play around with, and they kind of remind me of Pokeballs because they had that little like round piece on it. I learned that if you wanted to do this, you have to really use your fingernails to pry this thing out because by brute strength, it's not coming off. It's pretty stuck in there. Also, if you're creative and can come up with a better word than ice cream balls, I would give you a big virtual hug because I'm about to say it for the rest of this video, but I feel like there's a better word that I can use. But once we finally get this last ice cream ball pried out of here, we can kind of throw them up and you can really see like how fun these are. I'd imagine some fancy restaurant could do some really cool desserts with this, but I don't know, I'll just play around with these while I can. But you know what we really need to do? We need to get my spades because we have to get the full effect of throwing these around. I can tell you right now that 8-year-old Dylan never would have imagined that he'd fly all the way to North Carolina just to throw around some balls of ice cream at an ice cream machine manufacturer. I can't get over how much these just look like snowballs, and that's kind of cool. Also, if you missed it a second ago, that was a sneak peek at the cake that I'm going to decorate later. I was a little worried that these balls were going to be kind of small and they were going to be hard to throw, but I mean, they didn't seem like that hard until I dropped it right here. Today was full of a ton of research, and obviously, as you can see, I also had a ton of fun. They showed me a lot of stuff like this that I'll probably never use, but I'm excited to see what comes. Pretty much the same ice cream machine I normally use, but it has this special door on it that makes it really easy to dispense and fill up things like pint sizes of ice cream. You may have noticed in the other videos I normally have a little door that I pull up, but this one is a handle that you pull down that dispenses it out of this little hole. I didn't have any pint sized containers to fill up, so we went ahead and filled up these pentagon molds. Once I filled a few of them up, I took a spatula and smoothed them all out so they'd have flat bottoms when we flip them over. I still found a way to make this a giant mess, even though